Hey, what's up, everybody? It's day 3 of the Mayhem event that GGG's putting on, the first of 3 events. They're doing Mayhem, Endless Delve, and then Delirium Everywhere. And I've had a little bit of separation, a little bit of time to digest my death, and some time to really think about this event, what's going on here. I just want to add a little additional context from the rest of the community as well. So we'll be going over some of the stuff that people have been saying. So I was going to make this video yesterday after I died, but I needed some time away from that. Just a few hours ago, Zizaran put out a short 3-minute video that really says much of what I wanted to say, but I just wanted to add a little bit additional onto that. So definitely check his video out. It's really, really good. The short of it is that Mayhem's supposed to be like a really fun event. That's actually what it's been in the past. And I think it's like particularly marred by 2 critical flaws right now. And Ziz touches very much on one of them, which is the fact that they added a bunch of mods. Mayhem is supposed to be this really fun thing where you go into a zone, there's 20 Harbies, there's 20 invasion bosses, whatever. It primarily should be giving you more monster density and more loot, and not really scaling the difficulty too much besides, hey, there's a bunch of stuff on the screen at the time, but not really turning it into this like really scary spiky damage. And unfortunately, with the additional modifiers here, they're basically like baby gauntlet mods. There's a couple that are pretty scary. Things like Fizz as Chaos and plus 2 additional proj, combined on Rogue Exiles or anything like that could be particularly scary. And that's primarily what Zizaran talks about in his video. But what I want to talk about, because what killed me specifically personally, was Arch Nemesis mods. I think in events like this, when there are additional difficulty factors, the scary effects of Arch Nemesis modifiers are dramatically amplified. In the regular game, Arch Nemesis mods are not fun. They're not the most comfortable thing in the game until you're like totally scaled up. If you're just playing regular trade or regular SSF, particularly not in hardcore, it's not a big deal. When you're trying to get your character online in a race, especially like a 10-day or shorter event, Arch Nemesis mods, specifically when you first get to maps, can be incredibly scary and feel awful. And let's take a very quick look at my rip right here. So, if you want a deeper analysis of that, of what goes on there, definitely check out the video that I put out earlier today on the Clips channel. Subscribe to that if you want more, more fun clips, more shorter format stuff. But yeah, basically the reason why I died is I had positive chaos res. When I hit maps, it was a tier 2 map. The Arch Nemesis mods just stacked in a way that made me take a ridiculous amount of chaos res. I got really, really unlucky with the Chaos Degen Arch Nemesis mod plus the Entangling Vines Arch Nemesis mod, both of which do chaos damage over time. And on top of that, the Entangling Vines blocked my shield charge from being able to shield charge, even having positive chaos res when I hit maps and 3,500 life. Apparently that wasn't enough to stop me from dying. And yeah, that was the end of my character. Previously, the entire concept of Mayhem was, and this is what Ziz says in his video, it is for blasting for really, really high, density of monsters. Honestly, through the acts, it was incredibly fun. Walking into a zone, seeing 10 Harbingers, especially in Act 1, took a while to farm them, but being able to get multiple binding orbs by the time that you hit mudflats, being able to elk and have full rare gear, before you hit Merveil was pretty cool. Killing some Rogue Exiles, getting, full sets of jewelry and everything. Really, really good. Helps that progression feel really fun through the acts. And generally what you would hope for is to keep that accelerated progression when you hit to maps. But unfortunately, with these mods, like the difficulty really spikes after that. The confluence of Arch Nemesis plus the additional mods, you could get really unlucky. It makes it so even if you're playing in like SSF softcore, it's going to feel particularly uncomfortable. Many of the hardcore players are very turned off at this. And yeah, let's just see what the rest of the community has to say. So first up, we have this post from Jung Roan showing Huwoo's rip when he was at rank 1. We can watch this real quick. This rip is really, really unfortunate. It's a combination of not having shock immunity, getting cursed with conductivity, but then getting absolutely blasted from a overtuned Beyond Scourge monster, just absolutely blasting him. So yeah, just like that. Right before he takes the hit, he has conductivity on him, and when he takes the hit, he has a 40% shock. You could argue that he could go for a little bit more defenses there, but I mean, he was ranked number 1. Obviously, he's really good at what he does. It's Huwoo. When a white monster hits that hard, that is pretty rough, even with a 40% increased damage taken. That's pretty brutal. I don't even think this has anything to do with Mayhem, the mods, or Arch Nemesis. This is just, the new Scourge monsters are that much scarier. Here was a funny little post of someone showing themselves fighting a triple tormented Hillock on the Twilight Strand here. This is just a funny, unfortunate thing that can happen. This, kind of sucks, honestly. Like, if you logged in 1 hour late, I believe it was tormented after the first rotation in Mayhem. And yeah, if you logged in just 1 hour late, you were basically like hard stuck there. Or, if you were in softcore, you could kind of death run it. And yeah, that could just set you back by 10, 20, 30 minutes pretty easily there. I think this kind of speaks to how they've adjusted Delirium Everywhere, or how we hope them to get adjusted, is that it's a scaling difficulty. And something like this, I would argue, if you want to do this properly in the future to make it an actually fair race, you'd probably want some sort of scaling difficulty. So Act 1, maybe isn't fully random off the bat, allows you to scale your character a little bit. So if you log in just 60 minutes late, you're not like an additional hour behind, right? And then I just wanted to end on this thread, which I think is the most indicative of really how the community is feeling in general. Ventura, who is a very, a known SSF player, he's very good at the game, says adding mods to Mayhem might possibly be the least enjoyable experience I've ever had in PoE. I don't know if I'm going to log back in tomorrow. Whose idea even was this? And then Tai Killer, normally Mayhem is my favorite race, but I'm logging out on day 2. Crouching Tuna, I logged out in Act 3. Ben, he's pretty good at the game. This is why I skipped logging in altogether. But yeah, Ventura is usually a very positive guy. Really, he pushes through some really difficult stuff. Mayhem does not feel as hard as Gauntlet, right? It is not as hard as the hardest Gauntlets. But the problem is it's about expectations. This is just not what we expected going into this event. I think everyone just thought it would be like the previous Mayhem events, where it's just blasting and having a good time, and tons of loot raining, looking for those Harbinger spawns and farming them when it rotates on your favorite map, and trying to get tons of XP, tons of currency, whatever, and just having a good time. For some reason, they wanted to add additional mods and give people a baby gauntlet, which, if they renamed it like Baby Gauntlet or something and maybe had some additional rewards. I didn't even mention that. There's only the God Killers reward this league, and it's only for the top person in hardcore self-on per ascendancy. And then I think there's just like 4 for the top softcore players, something like that. Many, many fewer rewards, to the point where, like, for me, when I was looking at the standings, the number 1 raider was like level 92 when I woke up on Saturday, and I was like level 70. And I was like, I don't even want to like try to push through, because I can't even go for like 2nd or 3rd place. If this one guy stays that far ahead of me, then I just can never win, right? But, if I could at least be with the pack, top 3 or top 5 like they've had it in the past, I think that's a lot more engaging and interesting from a competitive standpoint anyway. I don't need to be 1st place. I'm happy with, 2nd or 3rd and at least saying that I did pretty well. But yeah, that's it for me. That's my thoughts on that. It's about expectations not being set properly. And I think that something like Arch Nemesis still being in the game, in addition to these mods, Rogue Exiles, Invasion Bosses, etc., it just compounds the difficulty. We're just looking from like 100 to 0 deaths in less than a second in a lot of situations. When many of the best players in the game either don't want to log in, they're not having fun, that usually is like a leading indicator for the rest of the community as well, which is a shame. I really wanted to be positive and love this event. And I think it does offer a lot. Like I said, if you are in softcore especially, I think leveling through the acts was actually really, really fun and interesting. If you want to give that a go, don't let me turn you off from that. Having all 4 links and rares by the end of Act 1 was really fun, and it made it a really engaging, interesting experience. But yeah, once I got to Act 9, 10, and then early maps, the spiky damage just became really, really uncomfortable. And yeah, it just turned me off. I'm not even going to make another character. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious to hear your guys' experience with the Mayhem. If you're playing it, if you're playing any of the other ones, let me know. And yeah, I'm really excited for next Monday. Endless Delve is one of my favorite events. I am 100% going to be trying really hard in that. But after dying to Arch Nemesis yesterday, I might not make more than 1 character if I die. I'll just say that. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.